Well, welcome back to Midlife Explorer. We're back out on the Murray River in Prince Edward Island again today. And again heading upstream on the Murray River. I was originally planning on paddling down to the Murray Islands today, but the wind is starting to pick up and the tide is starting to go out. So as much as I want to paddle down to the Murray Islands and Murray Harbour, the reality is getting back is going to be a bit of a challenge. So we're going to head upstream again, but this time we're going to do a portage over to MacLure's pond because you can get quite a ways up MacLure's pond, which should allow us to get out and paddle for 3 hours with a bit of a portage, and then hopefully one morning this week when the wind is down, or at least the tide's going in the right direction, I'll head down to Murray Harbour and down to the Murray Islands, because ultimately I do want to paddle down to the Murray Islands while we're here. It's an overcast day today with the winds at about 18 kilometers an hour, gusting to 30. And again, that's the reason why I'm not heading downriver, because that would mean I'd have a 9-kilometer paddle back into this headwind that you can see right now, and against the tide, because the tide would also be going out by the time I got down there. What I might actually make arrangements to do is to perhaps get picked up down in Murray Harbour one day this week, so that I can at least do the paddle down river. But anyway, out for paddle again, looking forward to getting out in the water. It's been a couple of days since we've gone kayaking, so happy to get out on my own today for a few hours and paddle up to MacLure's pond. So this is Murray River. There's also a Murray Harbour downriver. So it's actually about a 9-kilometer paddle to get down to Murray Harbour, which again is on my list of things to do this week. Unfortunately, the wind and the tide are going in the wrong direction for me to make it back up to where we're staying now. So cormorants everywhere down here. Cormorants, seagulls, herons. Actually, we saw 6 eagles on the property last week. They haven't come back actually since we saw them last week, but at one point we had 6 on the property. We did see some further up the river here when we went for our paddle, but certainly lots of wildlife on the river anyway. I paddled further upstream earlier on this week, but unfortunately there's nowhere to go up there, so we're going to see if we can portage across to the other side over here. There's a small dam. We're going to portage around the dam and drop back into the pond, but hopefully we can get out here. Doesn't look like there's anybody living on this property. this should be nice and flat from here now. This is MacLure's pond. And again, from what I can see on the map, I think I can get up pond, if you want to call it that, at least 5 or 6 kilometers, so at least for an hour anyway. We'll see how far we can get, but this was my plan B for today as far as paddles are concerned. And it looks like there's a spot there you could park if you wanted to actually drop your kayak in there. It's a bit slippy getting in, but accessible at least anyway. And should have a nice paddle, an hour up and an hour back down, and then we'll head back to the cottage. But it will be easier paddling than trying to make it up from Murray Harbor, which was my plan A for the day. This will be a much easier to manage paddle. Now there's a bridge that crosses this pond because apparently it's not here anymore. There used to be a golf course here in Murray River. I can't remember whether I played this golf course or not. We used to come 25, 30 years ago. We'd come to PEI and play a lot of golf. I don't know that I ever came to Murray River though. I think you'd remember crossing this bridge if I had. But the golf course is not here anymore. I think it's all crown land on the right-hand side of this pond, and I think they've put some residences on the left side. It's too bad you can't walk across this, though. This would be actually kind of cool to walk across this bridge. Yeah, I'm glad I decided not to. I mean, it would have been good going down to the harbor. Would have been totally downwind. But it would have been a real pain getting back, again, especially with the tide going out and paddling into this headwind. It was the right decision. Yeah, there's nobody on this body of water. Nobody at all. When I say nobody, I mean I can't see any cottages either. This would be a good little body of water to have a boat. It's big enough. So I guess there was a golf course on both sides of this pond here, because that's what this bridge I think is originally for. I wonder if there's any walking paths here. Well, the weatherman doesn't seem to be cooperating. It was supposed to be sunny this afternoon. Well, it's not quite afternoon yet, but it's supposed to be sunny anyway. Hopefully this will blow over soon. Don't expect the wind's going to die down much because it normally picks up in the afternoon here. Definitely paddling into a 20 plus kilometer an hour headwind now, though. Not making much progress against the shore, right? That's okay. It'll be quick going on the way back. Save the easy paddle for the return trip. So this pond, once you get up to the top of the pond, which again is about, I think it's about 5 kilometers long, it starts to narrow into a river. So I guess technically this is actually the headwaters for the Murray River. Because I went under the bridge on the other side. It doesn't go anywhere, and whatever that is, it doesn't seem to be a river, that's for sure. But there was a creek also flowing in, but not worth exploring to go underneath the second bridge. But so far, all crown land on this pond. I think there are a few residences off on the left-hand side. They just don't seem to be accessing the water, though. Looks like there's a cottage over there to the left. Nothing on the right-hand side. Oh, no, never mind. I spoke too soon. There's a structure up here on the right, too, so there are a few folks on this pond. There's definitely a cottage over there. Not a single person. I haven't seen a single person since I stepped into this kayak. Just geese and cormorants. And some ducks. So our goal today is to get as far up this as we can get, much like I did on the first paddle. And once it becomes impassable, we're going to turn around and go back. And if that means I'm paddling for a couple more hours, then so be it. I'm on a mission today. I want to see how far we can explore up this little body of water, which converts from a pond into a river. There's a river flowing into it, and it looks like I can get up that for a bit as well. So we'll see how far I can go. Again, when I Google mapped it, it was about 7 kilometers. Which means by the time I'm done, it should be about a 20-kilometer paddle by the time I get back. Well, Mr. Butler, again, probably not a paddle that you would enjoy, because we're going up into the wind. I think if you and I are going to go paddle down here next year, if you come down, we'll drop the vehicle down in Murray Harbor and we'll just paddle down river to Murray Harbor. That way we got the wind at our back all the way. That will be an easier journey than trying to fight into the wind on the way back. Because there's been wind here every day so far. Although on Saturday it wasn't too bad, but that's the only real day where we haven't had wind into the 20s so far. There you go, there's a heron. Or maybe an eagle. There's a bald eagle. There we go. See lots of those this week. I was talking to a friend at dinner actually the other night, and he was saying that when he was a kid growing up in PEI, he didn't see eagles. That they've made a real comeback. But in the 70s, you didn't see eagles around here. I guess for the same reasons why we didn't see eagles growing up when we were kids either, and yet you can see them all over the Thames River where I live, the Grand River, the Nith River. Certainly on the Grand River, you see them everywhere. And we have seen eagles on the Murray River plenty of times, like I mentioned earlier, right from our back porch. A whole bunch of them actually the other day. All right, it looks like I'm getting to the end of the pond anyway. We'll have to see what the water's like above this. All right, we crossed this bridge. So this is the top of the pond right here. We drove over this bridge a couple days ago on the way into Charlottetown, so I'm not sure how much further we're going to get after this, but we'll keep on going. And see how far we can get past this bridge. It's getting quite thick. The weeds are actually quite thick now underneath, so I'm not sure how far we'll be able to paddle. It's gonna be interesting to get further up past this bridge. All right, am I going straight or am I going underneath the bridge? It doesn't look like there's much water underneath that bridge. Well, the water definitely goes up from here, so I suppose this is the way we're going. Well, this is actually the part that I wanted to explore, so not sure how far we'll get up this, but let's go and have a look anyway. I wasn't very successful the other day. Oh, it's pretty shallow already. I don't think I'm getting very far up this. It's a bit of current though. Yeah, we're not getting very far up that way. I came up the wrong channel, I'm pretty sure. Because it looks like there is a way to get up this. Let's try the other side. I'm going to be a little bit disappointed if I can't get up this at all. I came all this way up here. Well, I mean, the paddle up the pond was fine. But I came up this way because I wanted to see if I could get up this little creek here, because it looked like you could from Google Maps. Well, let's go see the other side. If not, then we'll turn around and head back and find a place to stretch, because I do need to stretch. And a battery change. Nope, you're not going up this at all. Unfortunately, that's as far as we're going. Oh well, it was a nice idea. No, I think we are at the end. I don't think there's anywhere else to go upstream. As is evidenced by the aroma on the water. Well, I don't think this is going anywhere either, but we're going to go and have a look before we head back. looks like that is the end of MacLure's pond. I'll have to find a place to get out and stretch my legs, but we'll start heading back. Not sure we're getting any further now. I think that's it. You know me, gotta check both sides. Yeah, there's no point in going up there, it doesn't go anywhere. Alright, well. Time to turn around and head back down MacLure's pond and then down the Murray River back to the cottage. This is a good option though, instead of paddling upstream into the, or upriver into the, into the breeze and the tide. This actually was a nice paddle. I'm glad I chose to do this. And I think it was a little bit far for Patty to paddle. So good that I did it on my own, because once I get going, I would keep on going till the end. I'm not sure Patty would have wanted to paddle all the way up here. So. Time to turn around and go back. Hopefully the wind is behind my back all the way this time, because I paddled into the wind on the way up. So it should be an easier paddle on the way back. Nice and quiet. Right now we're heading back down again, back on MacLure's pond, but we're going to paddle from here. There'll be 7 kilometers with a portage back onto the Murray River and then back to the cottage. But, this is a good way of spending an afternoon though, or a morning. I think in total I will probably do about 15 or 16 kilometers, and I think 20. 20 was my original guess, but that's because I thought I was going to get up the river a bit further, but it'll be 16 anyway by the time I get back. So a nice little paddle on flat water. And again, I didn't go down river today for the same reasons why I didn't when I was out paddling the other day, because the winds were building and it was already 20 kilometers an hour, gusting up to 35, and the tide was going out. So the return paddle would have been a lot of work, trying to paddle 9 kilometers back into the wind and the tide. So this was the smarter paddle today, but I am going to try to get down to the Murray Islands, and the good news is I'm back next year. So if I don't get that portion done, that gives me something to look forward to next year anyway. Next year I think I'm going to bring a couple of different kayaks. I'll certainly bring my Necky again, but next year I'm also going to bring my Dagger. I think with my Dagger I'll be more confident heading down to the Murray Islands, because it's got a skeg and the skirt fits better on that. I tried to put my skirt on this boat today, but I have a spray skirt, it just doesn't seem to fit properly. It does fit the Dagger much better though. So next year we'll bring the Dagger. But it's been a fun paddle so far, heading back now. It should be an hour and a half by the time I get back to the cottage, hour and a half all the way back. Now we're back on the Miller River. Let's go and have a look at that little dam. Well, this is what the actual weather forecast was calling for. This is the wind that we expected to get. Unfortunately, when I started this morning, the wind was much stronger, which is why I turned upriver instead of downriver. But I think if the wind would have been like this, I would have actually gone in the opposite direction. Well, hopefully tomorrow we'll get better winds in the morning, and I will paddle down to the Murray Islands. That's my next thing on my checklist of things I wanted to get done this week. So hopefully we'll get out to Murray Islands and paddle the 8 kilometers downriver from where we're staying right now. But we're still good to get up to MacLure's pond and paddle up pond from there, up a river, I guess. There's water flowing in. It's good to get out. 3-hour paddle, probably about 16 kilometers in total. Absolutely nothing up there. Absolutely silent once you get past the dam and onto the pond. There's pretty much all crown land up there, so it was actually really nice to have nothing around and nothing but the birds to listen to.